All right, ladies and gentlemen, man, oh man, did we have a ending to this episode? Makes you guess on what is going on with the Undisputed Era. Is NXT leading to the audience to actually believe that the Undisputed Era might be breaking up, or at least Roderick Strong being kicked off of the Undisputed Era? The end of this matchup between Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong accidentally, quote unquote, gets hit by Adam Cole. He didn't realize that it was actually Roderick Strong. He thought it was Johnny Gargano. But this leaves you to question, is this leading to Roderick Strong being executed out of the Undisputed Era altogether? Which, me personally, I would go with that because, quite frankly, Roderick Strong does not belong in the Undisputed Era. He is not anywhere near in the realm of what the Undisputed Era can do. I mean, he's a great wrestler and all, but he is not in... He doesn't really fit in my opinion. And I think that this is going to lead to Roderick Strong being kicked out of the Undisputed Era altogether. But that leaves things to be questioned. Will the WWE NXT creative team actually do that, or was this just a minor setback for the Undisputed Era altogether? So much more to come in this build-up towards this storyline, which I hope they go in further progression. The rest of the show is a pretty solid show. So let's get right into it. NXT. WWE NXT April 24th, 2019. Excuse me, I'm trying to find the words to shoot out of my mouth here. Been talking so many fucking hours at my job for over 8 hours, it makes me sick. So we had the Forgotten Sons. They're one of their head honcho guys who's really more of a manager than a wrestler. He actually performed tonight, and Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan came in to the rescue of this jobber who was an enhancement talent who did a very decent job in this matchup, but the match wasn't all that big of a deal. Match ended up being a no contest altogether anyway. We then headed into Candice LeRae and this Catazano chick who tag teamed with her against Vanessa Bourne and Aliyah. Aliyah and Vanessa Bourne actually lost to Candice. So that match, it was whatever. I really didn't care. But we then got the War Raiders competing against the Street Profits, and I have to say this. Why are we getting War Raiders being announced here, and then on the WWE main roster they're being called the Viking Raiders, or the Viking Experience, or whatever the fuck they're going to call them from now on? Doesn't really matter, it's all shit anyway. How can you go from the fucking War Raiders and continue to call them that on NXT when they are not called that on the WWE main roster? Is somebody losing their fucking minds? Like, literally. I think Vince McMahon needs to step aside or something. Make some fucking sense of what he is doing. Watch what your son-in-law is doing in NXT and apply some of it to your fucking main roster show, and you might actually have a half as decent show as your son-in-law does. Because even with a lackluster show like this one was, it's still better than any Monday Night Raw or SmackDown episode. Let me just put it that way. And it makes more sense. And at the end of the day, they still gave us some kind of reason to want to tune in for next week. To see what happens with the Undisputed Era. Is there going to be more friction going on with Roderick Strong and Adam Cole? Or is it going to be water under the bridge and it later on picks back up again? That is what WWE Creative should be doing. But I'll tell you the truth, the way they prepare for their events, they're really not prepared. That's like going ahead and being a news broadcaster having a fucking script and having it done 45 minutes before the fucking news goes on the air. You don't even know what the hell you're fucking reading or aware of what you're supposed to be reading. So it sounds more natural. That's what WWE does. NXT feels more organized and more prepared for its shows week by week than WWE Raw and SmackDown. Not to mention, they feel more natural, more realistic. Raw and SmackDown does not. Simple as that. Just going into one of my rants once again, because I know WWE has it in them to produce a good show. Because if NXT can fucking do it with Triple H, who was never a promoter, he was an in-ring talent, then fucking sure as hell Vince McMahon can do the same. And he just doesn't. For whatever fucking reason, I don't care. That's why he's losing me as a viewer and making me not care to watch his show on a regular basis. I mean, don't get me wrong. I will be the first to admit I have been watching 2016 Raw and SmackDown episodes. And hell, even Raw and SmackDown episodes from 2016 were better than this bullshit of today. And that was 3 fucking years ago. So if I can go ahead and say that 3 years ago was better than this shit, that's a fucking horrible statement. And even back then, they were still fucking bad. They were really fucking bad. So, whatever you say, guys, because WWE is right down the fucking toilet of complete and utter bullshit. Plain and simple. They are crap. But this show was pretty solid, at least with the War Raiders and the Street Profits. I enjoyed this matchup. It was hard-hitting. It looked like the War Raiders were going to job out to the fucking Street Profits, which I thought would have been fucking insane. But thankfully, they did not. They actually beat the Street Profits. I mean, I wouldn't have had a problem with the Street Profits winning, but the way they were going, it looked like they were going to fucking squash them. Which is not what you do to the War Raiders, who you've built up into a tag team championship team. You don't fucking do that kind of crap. That's just fucking idiotic and stupid. But with this whole thing that we saw unfold tonight, this matchup was a very solid and good matchup that could have been on an NXT TakeOver event, possibly. I don't know how people feel about that. Tell me your comments and opinions down below. I'll get back to you on that one. If you want to tell me what you would think about Street Profits versus the War Raiders. And then Johnny Gargano and Roderick Strong, they tore the fucking house down, man. They had really good technical wrestling. The action was back and forth. It was a solid, good matchup that I enjoyed watching. And, it could have been a good grudge match placed on an NXT TakeOver show. Plain and simple. For a world title, hell no. I wouldn't want to see that. But yeah, the ending of this matchup was the whole enchilada of it that made it great. Was Roderick Strong getting accidentally kicked in the face by Adam Cole. I thought that was unbelievably awesome, and it definitely attracted my attention. I am definitely going to keep a key eye on this storyline as it builds, because it definitely intrigues my interest, like they did with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. So, with all due respect to Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa, I actually hope this builds into even a better storyline than what Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano did. But do I see that happening? Probably not, because Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa are probably the two best storytellers in NXT right now today. That's really all I have to say on this episode. There wasn't a whole lot to go into it. The matches, there was 2 good matches to close the show, and the first 2 matches I really just didn't care for. They had Shayna Baszler beat the shit out of Io Shirai, and that's about it, and that's really the whole show. Shayna Baszler is dominating, and I mean dominating NXT right now. I think at some point they need to move her into the main roster by SummerSlam. Give somebody an opportunity to become the NXT Women's Champion and move her into the main roster against Becky Lynch for the WWE Women's Championship, whichever title she's going to have. Supposedly, from my friend Matthew, he told me that Charlotte Flair is getting an opportunity for Becky Lynch's Women's Championship for SmackDown. So we're getting 2 matches by Becky Lynch in one night. Are you fucking kidding me? Really? I can't understand any of this shit. Really. But bottom line is, I don't think that Charlotte is going to lose this match. I think she's going to win the championship. Becky's going to keep her Raw title against Lacey Evans and retain it. And then Shayna Baszler is going to come out of nowhere. She's going to be brought up to the main roster. And I think she should be the one to beat Becky Lynch for the Raw Women's Championship. Because she's a fucking ass kicker and a believer that makes women wrestling more credible. But anyway, guys, leave your comments and opinions down below. Hit the like button if you liked the video. And hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. I thank you very much for watching. Good night. Bye.